Alrighty, Patrick Mahomes is kind of, he's getting a little bit too confident out here, a little bit too cocky. The head's getting a little bit big. He's the front runner. Everyone's already calling this man the future GOAT. He's already, excelled and succeeded and won rings and has gotten to multiple Super Bowls. So his early career has definitely been great, kind of following the same track that, Russell Wilson has been on so far. Coming in, never having a losing season, getting to 2 Super Bowls, winning one real early on in his career, and, he hasn't been back in a couple of years, and, Patrick Mahomes could follow that same trajectory. We'll see what happens this year, but he's got 2 quotes here that I'm not the biggest fan of, so let's talk about it here. So, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, quote, "The only record I have my eyes set on breaking is going 20-0, baby. Now that the new 18-game schedule or 18-week schedule, 17 games, you get the week if you get the highest schedule, and if you're 17-0, you're going to have that bye. And then the 3 playoff games, 2 playoff games, and the Super Bowl. That gives you the extra 3 for the 20-0 season." So, this is great, having, high goals, obviously, never losing a game, that's really on everybody's mind. Nobody goes into the season thinking, hey, we're going to go 9-7 this year, and that's going to be real great for us. We're going to be real, 9-8 now. We're going to go 9-8. We're probably going to lose 8 games this season, but we're still going to be, no. Everybody has, in those OTAs and training camps, and, before preseason, everyone's like, you know what, we're not going to lose a game. Nobody goes into the season thinking they're going to lose games. That's kind of a loser mentality you definitely don't want. So I've got no problem with him saying that in that aspect. But, Patrick Mahomes here being kind of quoted as, the future GOAT and now setting these big goals. And we got another story we're going to talk about right after this one about, once again, Patrick Mahomes maybe biting off a little bit more than he can chew so far. But let's see what he says here in this article. So, fittingly, Mahomes' new goal is to accomplish something that neither Brady, and he got really gosh darn close. We just told you the 16-0 season with Randy Moss. Man, oh man, just losing in the Super Bowl by 3 points. I think it was 17-14 they lost. Truly, truly unfortunate against the Giants, against Eli Manning. Ugh. I know Brady is losing sleep over that. So, fittingly, Mahomes' new goal is to accomplish something that neither Brady nor any one quarterback ever has. The 25-year-old has made all sorts of history just a few years into what's quickly shaping up to be a Hall of Fame career once again. Everybody's calling him the future GOAT and Hall of Famer and all that, but let's take a little bit of a step back. We're kind of all saying this about Russell Wilson, not as much as Patrick Mahomes. I definitely think Patrick Mahomes is definitely having a better early season, just stats-wise and just kind of play-wise than Russell Wilson, but, that is a decent comparable comp of having real success early on in their career. And then, a couple of seasons, of never really getting to an NFC championship game or anything like that. But here we go. Where do we leave off of? He said just one feat has his attention as he prepares for the 2021 campaign, leading his team to a perfect season. Quote, "The only record I have my eyes set on breaking, which would be new this year, is going 20-0. That's not really a record to be broken, I guess you would say. But I think 19-0 is the record right now, so being able to go 20-0 to be the first one to do that would be awesome. And yeah, obviously that'd be awesome. Everybody has their eyes set on having an undefeated season. The Steelers almost tried to do it last season, and then Big Ben's arms kind of gave up on him. But when we look at, Patrick Mahomes, he does have the right to talk this talk a little bit. I'm not going to knock him, I'm not knocking him or blasting him for saying this. He's definitely proven that he should be talking this talk. Ever since he came into this Chiefs team, they haven't lost more than 4 games in the regular season. 2018, they went 12-4. 2019, they went 12-4. Just last year, they went 14-2. Just lost against the Raiders, and then they didn't play, the last week. They didn't play all their starters. So, really only lost 2 games last year. They got to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, they lost that game too, but real close to, a perfect season. And if they beat that Raiders team early on in the season, they could have, potentially been undefeated at the Super Bowl and maybe given them that maybe extra motivation to go out and win it. or maybe it gives Tom Brady even extra more motivation to beat the person that potentially could ruin his legacy and make him look a little bad. Hey, Brady, you went undefeated in the regular season, then lost the Super Bowl. I was able to cap it off. I was able to complete the perfect season. So maybe that would have given Tom Brady a little bit more oomph to go out and win it, even though they won it already. But let's just see what quality opponents that this Chiefs team beat last season. They beat the Texans, not really a good win. The Chargers in overtime. I mean, early Justin Herbert. I mean, you shouldn't have gone to overtime with that. The Baltimore Ravens, early Lamar Jackson trying to figure it out. The Patriots with nothing, and then comes Week 5 against the Raiders. That's where they lose. But then they beat the Bills, real quality win there. They beat the Broncos, the Jets, the Panthers, the Raiders. They did beat the Bucs in the regular season by 3. That's a real good quality win there. The late season Bucs. The Broncos, the Dolphins, the Saints, I'll give them a quality win there. And then the Falcons. So really, just last season, really only 3 quality wins. I mean, you're beating the Texans, the Chargers, the Patriots, the Broncos twice, the Jets, the Panthers. I mean, no really good quality competition right there. And when they have to, let's see, can I bring up their schedule for this year? I got that up. Let me see if I can bring that up very quickly. Let's see if it's even possible. I mean, is their competition even worse? I mean, is it going to be better than it was last season? Because last season, really nothing truly that difficult. I mean, you had to face the Bucs, all right, but I mean, between those games, you were facing absolute garbage. I mean, so this year for the Chiefs, I mean, if Patrick Mahomes wants to go undefeated, let's see what he has to go up against. So the Browns week 1, the Ravens, that's definitely going to be another tough game to beat. The Chargers, the Eagles, the Bills, Washington, Tennessee, the Giants, the Packers, the Raiders, the Cowboys, the Broncos, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Steelers, the Bengals, the Broncos. So once again, pretty much a light schedule here. Their toughest competition, the Packers, the Titans maybe. I mean, giving them the Ravens, I mean, those are just the Bills. I'll give them the Bills. So maybe 4 real tough teams, but everything else is really kind of, really winnable for this Chiefs team. So once again, a really kind of easy schedule for the Chiefs. I'm kind of getting sick of that, but, if you're the Chiefs fans, obviously not, but really kind of a doable schedule here to go 20-0. So we'll see how the Chiefs are performing. Do they finally take a step back? They have never done that with Patrick Mahomes as kind of the starting guy out there. So, the 20-0 record is definitely breakable this year for Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs team. So let's see if they go out and do it. But then we get this quote by Patrick Mahomes. Once again, his head, he wants all the smoke, and I can definitely get behind that. If you want to be the best, beat the best. I definitely, can respect that. But maybe putting a little bit too much pressure on yourself early on because you've had early success. I mean, it's hard to maintain consistent success more than kind of 2 or 3 seasons. So this is really kind of the make it or break it year for Patrick Mahomes. Can he go kind of 4 or 5 seasons straight of just being absolutely amazing and unstoppable? So we get another quote here. Patrick Mahomes thinks Aaron Rodgers joining the AFC West team would be awesome. Quote, it would just make it a little tougher for us, but we're up for the challenge. So once again, I mean, I can respect you, wanting to have, the best competition, but I mean, you just went to the Super Bowl against Tom Brady. You were never really able to beat Tom Brady. You lost to him in the AFC Championship game when he was in the AFC. He goes to the NFC. He beats you in the Super Bowl. So I would kind of tone it down. These last couple of seasons, you've really been facing a lot of lackluster opponents compared to what the Chiefs' overall roster is. And once you get to the big games against legacy quarterbacks, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers is still a legacy quarterback, even though he just can't win the NFC Championship game. So I don't know if this is the right thing to say out loud. You can think it, but to say this out loud and to put all this pressure and all this attention, this unwarranted, I mean, you didn't need to do this. It's like, Juju Smith-Schuster dancing on the logo before games. It's like you're really not getting anything out of it, and you're just adding more fuel to the fire for your opponents to go out and destroy you. So for that, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but let's see what this quote is. Maybe it's a little bit more clear, Or maybe it's even a lot worse than we were thinking of just kind of the clickbait headline. But let's see what we get here. During his first annual 15 in the Mahomes Aloha Golf Classic, he's already got his own golf. He's even got his own golf classic so far. His own golf event. Jeez. So during his first annual 15 in Mahomes Aloha Golf Classic, I'd like to know the reason behind that name. Mahomes told Bleacher Report's Kayla Nicole, battling Rodgers twice a year would be fun. Quote, obviously it'd be awesome, Mahomes said. To have that challenge 2 times a year, every single year, would be a great opportunity. I mean, he's a heck of a football player. He's been doing it for a long time that I've watched play and learned a lot from. But definitely, if he came to the AFC West, it would just make it a little tougher for us, but we're up for the challenge. So once again, I mean, be careful what you wish for, Patrick Mahomes. It's not like you went out and beat Tom Brady over and over again. And Aaron Rodgers is worse than Tom Brady. I've got no problem saying that. We just saw the NFC Championship game. I'm doubling down on my stance. Tom Brady will always be better than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers will never be the greatest of all time. So maybe Patrick Mahomes is like, hey, I could actually be second best. I know it's going to be hard that I just lost head-to-head to Tom Brady twice. And I know Tom Brady's aging out of this league. I'm just coming in. So 10, 15, 20 years down the road when we're talking greatest quarterback of all time, it's going to be hard for me to go against Brady. But if I can go against Aaron Rodgers for these couple of seasons that Aaron Rodgers has left and I can beat him, I can definitely cement myself as number 2 greatest of all time, trying to work my way up to that number 1. So if that's what he's trying to, get to here, hinting, maybe not trying to, come out and say it, because he's not going to come out and say that he's not the greatest quarterback of all time. I mean, he's not going to say that after everything that we've seen of Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to ever say that he's not the greatest of all time. He may be, I don't think about it or something like that, humbly, but he's never going to come out and say, yeah, Tom Brady will always be better than me. He beat me head to head. He'll never come out and say that. So if that's what his line of thinking is here, trying to get Aaron Rodgers to the AFC West so we can go out and beat him twice a year, I think Patrick Mahomes could beat Aaron Rodgers twice a year head-to-head. I think I would have no problems betting on that and really thinking and rooting for that. But maybe Patrick Mahomes getting a little bit too big for his britches here with all this kind of talk, all this big talk. And, like I said, talk your talk. I've got no problems with you talking about stuff like this. It's just now you have to back it up. You have to back it up now. That's why, maybe keep these comments to yourself, because now everybody's going to be talking about this. I'm talking about this, and it's just putting more pressure on you and putting the more spotlight from us on you as well, because we're going to be bringing up these quotes during the regular season. And, gosh forbid, Patrick Mahomes has a duck year and goes like, what, 6-11? Is that right? 17 games, 6-11. He goes 6-11. We're going to be like, didn't you want all the smoke with Aaron Rodgers? Didn't you think you could go 20-0? And now here you are floundering. Just because you had early success in this league, it's hard to maintain that. And now here you are looking like a little bit of a bozo a little bit. But he's won a Super Bowl, so I give him a lot of credit for that already. He's been to 2, so I give him a lot of credit for that already. But is he going to follow the same path that Russell Wilson has been following? Let's bring that up. When was the last time Russell Wilson has gotten deep in the playoffs? Let me get that up real quick. I said it a couple times. Let me just double check my own narrative. Let's see. Here we go. So they got to the Super Bowl. The last time they got to the Super Bowl was 2014. Then 2015, they lost a divisional round. 2016, they lost a divisional round. 2017, they didn't even make it to the playoffs. 2018, they lost a wild card. 2019, they lost divisional. Last year, they lost wild card. So once again, Russell Wilson coming in and, going to the Super Bowl 2 times in his first 4 seasons. Pretty gosh darn good, folks. He went back-to-back to Super Bowls, only won 1, and never really was the same since. It just kind of, long playoff run. So Patrick Mahomes here, Russell Wilson is following the same trajectory. Let's tone it down a little bit, just a little bit. You can still be, great, because you are still great, but these wild expectations, I mean, nobody's went 20-0. I mean, the Dolphins did it, but do I have the pillow in my room somewhere? I made a pillow in 8th grade home ec class. That's got the day. I think it's 1973. But the NFL season was shorter back then. So, I would just say Patrick Mahomes, maybe tone it down a tad, because you just kind of got beat by Tom Brady here, and now you want kind of the second greatest quarterback of all time. Let's see if you can beat that head-to-head. But he believes in himself. I guess that's a silver lining, and we'll leave it at that, I guess. So let's keep going here.